mean. Happy Purim! Almost. Almost. If everybody can come in and have a seat, we're going to get started here. Welcome to everybody. Welcome to the people joining us online for Purim 5784 2024. Okay, I'm going to let us know what's going to happen tonight. So first of all, thank you guys for coming out. You guys look amazing, by the way. Amazing. Woo, give yourself a hand. For those of you online, you'll get to see them here in a minute. We've got some great creative outfits up here. So the first thing that we're actually going to do is we're going to have our costume contest, okay? And so this is divided into two categories. One, if you're age 12 and under, you're going to be in the first category. If you're 13 and up, even up, you're going to be in the second category, okay? So at this time, if you're 12 and under, please come to the front, and we're going to get everybody looking. Yes?
Well, we have a group that has 12 and under and 12 and over.
Then we're going to have to use a hatchet and cut them up. I don't know. Miranda, how are we going to deal with that?
Oh, a group.
That's up to the judges to decide.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll put them up as a group, and then I'll let the judges divvy out how that's working out, okay?
Go ahead, if you're 12 and younger, go ahead and have them still go up. We can kind of group them together.
Okay. So 12 and under. You guys, kiddos, come on up. Stand right here and face everybody out there, okay? Scoot in. And we're going to go around. Blake, do you know where the other mic is? Rabbi's mic? That's okay. I'll just unhook here. And I'm going to ask each one of these guys what they are, okay? And if you know, you know. If you don't, just say, I don't know. Okay, what are you? What are you dressed as?
Show yourself, Elsa.
What's that?
Show yourself, Elsa.
Show yourself, Elsa.
Show yourself. Oh, Elsa. Oh, okay, here we go. Nice. Okay, let's go back here. What are you dressed as?
A cowboy.
A cowboy.
A Power Ranger.
A Power Ranger. Are you Buzz Lightyear? I think that's Buzz Lightyear. Who we got?
I'm a witch from Harry Potter.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Who are you? You look strangely familiar. Are you even dressed up? Who are you? You're just a visitor. Who are you?
I'm Darren Lucky.
My daughter.
Need a little more gray in that beard.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Who are you, Zeke?
Owlette.
You're what?
Owlette.
Owlette from PJ Masks.
Owlette?
Yes.
Owlette. Oh, I've never heard of that. So, Owlette. Let me see your outfit.
Your wings.
Nice. Oh, and got the wings. Spread them out, man. Spread them out. Woo! Nice.
I'm a soccer player.
A soccer player. Monstars. Nice. Who are you guys?
She is Anu from PJ Masks.
Anu from who's heard of PJ Masks? Man, everybody but me. Wow. Okay, and you are?
I am Gecko.
Gecko. Nice.
Boy's over there.
What?
Catboy from PJ
And
Masks.
Catboy. Nice. All right. And who are you?
Willy Wonka.
And who's this?
Oompa Loompa.
Yeah. And you are confirming?
Oompa Loompa.
Okay. Who are you?
Who's on your shirt?
Who's on your shirt?
Sorry.
Bluey.
Bluey. And Bluey and Mom?
Mom.
All right. Who are you?
Eliyahu.
Eliyahu. I know, yeah. Eliyahu Melech. in this case, right? King Eliyahu, is that what you are?
Yeah.
Yeah, with his sword. Yeah, nice. Okay, who are you?
Perry girl.
Prairie Girl? Prairie Girl, I'm sorry. Prairie Girl, nice. Who are you?
I'm baby Hadassah.
Woo! Yeah, aw, nice. Are you anything special, Mama?
I'm just a mystery.
Just a mystery, as her husband says. Okay. Is it anybody else? Oh, here we go. Let's hear. Who we got?
He's a monster.
He's a little monster. So, all right, Rowan's a monster. Okay, anybody else? We got more people coming in.
Yeah. Aliens. Oh, I saw a dinosaur.
Somebody rush them in.
Oh, yeah, that's my dad.
There they are. Lance, we're judging contests. Is that Lance?
My dad's
Are they telling to rush? Kids are already up here. Come on in, guys. Come on over to me. Ailey, you girls, come over to me. Ailey, come here. Nice. All right, Ailey, come here. Okay, stand right here real quick. Okay. Who are you?
I dropped it again. Lance. Before the haircut.
I don't know if you guys heard that. She says, I said, who are you? She says, Lance, before the haircut. And who we got here, Mom?
Mr. President.
Mr. President. Got Trump Jr. Okay. Oh, Orange Baby Mad. There we go. Right there. Here's your sign there. Okay. And who are you?
Tinkerbell.
And we got Tinkerbell. Step up, showing your ears. Love the ears. Look at the ears. Nice. All righty. Okay, that's everybody, right? Okay, so you guys can go have a seat. Find you a seat. Good job. The judges are taking note of you and your costumes. Okay, if you are 13 and up, please come to be judged for your costumes. Hey, let's get Isaac up here with all the Oompa Loompas. Yeah.
All right.
That's funny. We'll go over to the edge.
All righty. In the right corner. Oh, wait, that's the wrong sport. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go through these, each one. Tell me who you are.
Yep. I'm a random guy with a crown and a mask.
Nice.
I'm a fairy.
A fairy.
I'm his alien wife.
Major Tom.
What?
Major Tom.
Major Tom.
Ground control.
Gotcha.
This is a dinosaur. I saw him out in the woods and I was like, look over there. It's a dinosaur. I'm going to ride it. Allie's angry.
Nice.
I'm Miss Maybelle. I wrote this cookbook, Belle's Best. If you want some Southern cooking, come buy my cookbook.
I am Dr. 13 from Doctor Who.
You told me 11.
It's 11. I was going to see who would call. Nobody has known so far.
Okay, Doctor Who. Here we go. Nice.
I am Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I'm Ray.
And she's Ray, yes.
Shim Sham.
What?
Shimsham Samson.
Oh, she's showing. Yeah.
Snoop Lamb.
What?
Snoop Lamb.
I don't know what that is. Who that is?
That's Snoop Dogg.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. Oh, you're King Ahasuerus.
They call me Twitcher.
The Twitcher.
I'm a safari guide.
Safari guide.
I'm the king. Not today, Haman.
I am a random Persian queen, not necessarily the Persian queen.
Yeah, but
Guys.
Shabbat Shalom.
I got my announcements. We got Purim. No, wait. Later tonight, we've got $5. $5. And welcome to those from New Hampshire and
And we have the rest. And we have the rest of the Willy Wonka Zoompa Loompa team here. Woo! Say, who are you guys? I'm Willy Wonka, and these are my Oompa Loompas.
I'm Willy Wonka.
And who are these?
Oompa Loompas.
Yeah. All right. So are you numbered or anything? Or?
No.
Okay. Good deal.
Did you come up with the number?
Rachel. Oh, you got a song? Okay, let's hear it.
Okay.
Oompa Loompa, if you're wise, you'll vote for me.
Nice.
I'm a pirate.
Pirate. Who doesn't do anything.
I am an FFOZ fangirl, and FFOZ is the light of the world, and you have to appreciate the fangirl stuff going on.
Nice.
I am Princess Buttercup, and my Wesley is going to save me.
Yay!
as you wish.
Exactly. I was going to say it, but I didn't want to steal it. I wonder who.
I have no idea. It can only be Bucky,
the one and only
soccer ref.
Soccer ref.
Wait, hold on. Oh, there, and he's got something for you.
Coach Kaysen.
Coach Kaysen.
I'm Dad. From Louie.
From Louie.
Mom.
Louie. Nice. And Louie. All right. And you are again?
Catboy.
And
Gecko.
All right. Is that everybody? Everybody? Anybody else? Come on. Just, hey, I didn't mean it.
Red card.
Tell us who you are, sir.
Norman Warrior.
Norman Warrior. All right, here we go. Thank you, guys. You may have a seat, and we will let the judges contemplate. Miranda. These two things happen at the same time? Okay. Hey, who's leading the kids? There she is. Okay, I need everybody's attention real quick. My whistler's broke. Anyway, Sabrina. Okay, here we go, guys. At this time, we are going to do some fun stuff. We're going to divide up into kids and adults. Is it same category, same age categories? 12 and under with Sabrina. So you guys are going to meet her in the back there. Adults are going to 13 and up are going to stay in here. Okay. So kids, Sabrina, can you go to the back of the room and they will look for the polka dot dress. Queen Vashti back there. She didn't come up here, but she's Queen Vashti. And she's going to take you guys out for some fun stuff. So kids, go with Miss Sabrina. Okay. Hey, kids, children, real quick before you leave, listen up. Children, before you go, do not go into the woods or the flower beds when you play these games. Got it? No woods, no flower beds. Thank you. Okay. And in this room, Are you leading this? Yes, you're leading this. Miranda's going to lead us in a game called Four Corners Trivia, and it's based on Purim. Okay? So here we go. Clip that on somewhere and just get that.
Put it right here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Obviously, can everybody hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, cool. So obviously a lot of folks, so let's not trample on one another, but we are going to see just how much Purim trivia everybody knows. So every corner is labeled. We got A, B, C, D. If it is a true or false, we got A for true, B for false, and we will see who the last man standing is. Okay. Oh, and if obviously you get the question wrong, then you're eliminated and you can have a seat. If you got it right, then you can continue on to the next question. Everybody up? Everybody ready? Up. All right. When there is a leap year, which month is Purim held? A, Adar 1. B, March. C, Adar 2. D, Nisan. When there is a leap year, which month is Purim held? Adar 1, March, Adar 2, Nisan. Okay, what are y'all? I can't tell which corner y'all are in. Oh, y'all are not pretending. My bad. Okay. If you are not in corner C, you are eliminated. All right. It is Adar 2. Next question. The word Purim means A, chance, B, lots, C, hidden, D, hope. Purim means chance, lots, hidden, or hope. Going once, going twice. B, lots. I think everybody got that one. All right. What other book besides Esther is God not mentioned? A, Ezra. B, Song of Solomon. C, Nehemiah. D, Judges. What other book besides Esther is God not mentioned? Ezra, Song of Solomon, Nehemiah, Judges. A, Ezra. B, Song of Solomon. C, Nehemiah. D, Judges. It is B, Song of Solomon. All right. How many petals are on Esther's rose? A, 13. B, 18. C, 26. D, 33. A, 13. B, 18. C, 26. D, 33. Those aren't Esther's roses. 13, 18, 26, 33. If you are not in corner A, you are eliminated. Okay. The Shabbat before Purim is called Shabbat A, Hagadol. B, Nakamu. C, Shuva. D, Zakor. Please don't ask me to repeat those again. The Shabbat before Purim is called Shabbat A. Hagadol, B. Nakamu, C. Shuva D. Zakor. If you were in Shakrit this morning, it was on the slide. There's your Jewish guilt trip for the day. All right. It is D. Zakor. How many sons did Haman? How many sons did he have? A, 3, B, 7, C, 10, D, 13. How many sons did Haman have? A, 3, B, 7, C, 10, D, 13. A3, B7, C10, D13. If you are in corner D, that is incorrect. It is corner C, 10. Traditionally, how many times is the Megilla read on Purim? A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, D, 7. How many times is the Megillah read? They're posted, A, B, C, D. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, or 7. No outliers? Yes, it is B, 2. Once in the evening, once in the morning. Okay. Which of the evil men fell ill, resulting in his death on Purim? A, Amalek. B, Haman. C, Hitler. We can boo him too. D, Stalin. I just want to hear from kicks and giggles because this one's going to be a free pass. I've already tested this one on a couple of different folks. I thought for sure we'd get it. And yeah. Which of the evil men fell ill, resulting in his death on Purim? Amalek, Haman, Hitler, or Stalin? Any guesses just for kicks and giggles? The first one is Amalek. And I've already said I will give a free pass on this one, but I just want to know for kicks and giggles. D, it was Stalin. Yep. Okay. It is said by some, let me preface that, said by some, this holiday, along with Purim, are the only holidays that will be celebrated when Messiah reigns. A, Passover. B, Sukkot. C, Yom Kippur. D, Hanukkah. It is said by some, this holiday, along with Purim, are the only holidays that will be celebrated when Messiah reigns. Is Passover, Sukkot, Yom Kippur, Hanukkah.
We have the definition of holiday.
I'm sorry?
What is the definition of holiday?
Any of the ones I just listed. If you are in corner B, that is incorrect, which is everybody. So nobody is standing in corner D. It is Hanukkah.
Really?
Said by some. Said by some.
No, I'm just saying, like, whoever that some is, I'm like, really?
Well, nobody was standing in corner D, so if you were remaining, then you're still in. So, yeah. Okay. First, true or false? A is going to be true, B is going to be false. True or false? Esther was a vegetarian.
Okay.
Don't look at me like that.
Okay.
Dave, don't look at me like that.
All right, now listen.
Hey, I got a southern accent too.
That's true. That's false.
A is true, B is false. Going once, going twice. Dave, I need you to make up your mind.
I thought the Buc-ee's, I thought it was B for Buc-ee's.
I don't have a comeback for that. A, it was true. She would not have had access to kosher meat. Okay.
That's why I came up here. I was like, no, wait a minute. Just because she didn't have kosher meat.
True or false? Esther means hidden. All right, only 3 remain. True or false? Esther means hidden. False. Does anybody know what Esther means? Y'all 3 are still in. There's nobody else left in the game. Esther means myrtle. Hadassah means hidden. Oh, I got him backwards then. Is it? Okay, well, y'all are right then. Oh, no. Esther means... And that is why I was having a discussion with earlier. That's why we need to just have the Shalom Hedron. That was what I'm like. We don't have a Sanhedrin, so we have a Shalom Hedron. How about that? I'm like, we always have the judges, right? Okay. How many days did Ahasuerus' first party last? A, 8, B, 80, C, 180, D, 185. How many days did that first party last? 8, 80, 180, 185.
I'll take this one.
It was C, 180. We have our winner. For kicks and giggles, would the rest of y'all like to stand up and go ahead and do the rest of the questions? Okay. All right. So everybody goes up, or everybody back up. Okay. Which spice does Mordecai's name mean? A, salt. B, frankincense. C, myrrh. D, turmeric. Or Old Spice, yeah, E. A, salt. B, frankincense. C, myrrh. D, turmeric. It was C, myrrh. Okay. True or false? Ahasuerus is not yet king at the beginning of the book of Esther. True or false? A is true, B is false. Ahasuerus is not yet king at the beginning of the book of Esther. That's going to be true. You had it right, buddy. Okay. In what month did Haman cast lots? A, Adar, B, Nisan, C, Elul, D, April. In what month did Haman cast lots? A, Adar, B, Nisan, C, Elul, D, April. It would be Nisan. Hamantashen are known to describe all of these except A, Haman's hats, B, Haman's ears, C, Haman's pockets, D, Haman's nose. Any guesses? Y'all have all sat down on me. D, Haman's nose. Okay. Which war ended on Purim? A, World War I, B, World War II, C, the Gulf War, or D, the Yom Kippur War? C, it was the Gulf War. Okay, this one, y'all can consult with the Shalom Hedron on this one. Don't throw anything at me. What language is Purim? English, Hebrew, Persian, Arabic. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. Hebrew. Y'all can consult with the Shalom Hedron. How about that? Because Eam ends with, yeah, consult with them. All right, true or false? Esther had a son. Hebrew. True. Can anybody tell me what his name was? Dariavash? Yep. All right. During what holiday was Haman hung? Passover, Purim, Yom Kippur, Independence Day. Anybody guess? Passover. Yes. True or false? It is thought that Mordecai and Esther both are buried in current day Iran. True. What Jewish king was Mordecai a descendant of? King Asa, King David, King Saul, King Solomon. Saul. True or false? Esther married Ahasuerus after his first wife was banished for disobeying his commands. False. She was executed, not banished. How many parties total is mentioned in the Megillah? 2, 3, 5, or 6? Any guesses?
3.
How many parties total is mentioned in the Megillah? 2, 3, 5, or 6? 6. Okay. Second to last one. True or false? According to the rabbis, Agag and Haman each had a daughter with the same name. According to the rabbis, Agag and Haman each had a daughter with the same name. False. They each had a son with the same name. All right. And just for kicks and giggles, if there had been a tiebreaker, which I would have been surprised, but Thursday was the fast of Esther. How many minutes long was the fast for Macon, Georgia? Let me specify that. For Macon, Georgia. Any guesses? Huh. It was a lot longer than 22 minutes, I assure you. Definitely not 8,000. You're the closest. 834 minutes. All right, Darren, I'm going to pass this back off to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Real quick.
We'll do that. We'll do that after we get done.
Oh, it's after you?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay, so this is what's going to happen the rest of the evening. First of all, we're about to dismiss and go eat, and then we'll come back here. We'll do prizes for who won the contest, the costume contest, and then we're going to do Havdalah, and then we'll be reading the Megillah. Okay? Why are we reading the Megillah so late? Huh? Purim doesn't start technically till after Shabbat, right? So after we do Havdalah, we'll officially enter into Purim, okay? And then we'll read the Megillah, okay? So if you have to leave before we read the Megillah, which I suggest you don't, but if you have to, then get with Miranda, and she will get you your goodie bags before you go, okay? So at this time, we are going to, hey, I don't know what's out there for food, so I'll give a general blessing, but we are going to dismiss and eat. Are we ready back there for people to? Okay. So, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechol niyeh bivaro. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, by whose word all things came to be. Thank you, Father, for this time, for this fellowship. We bless you and we thank you for your goodness, and we give you praise, b'shem Yeshua. So, as we say, they tried to kill us. We won. Let's eat.
it on his shirt and he walks around. And I'm like, but he had no clue. He was completely ignorant. I was like, I was in Amman, and he just gone to the store and he bought this. I'm like, do you have any idea what you want? He's like, well, I thought it was pretty cool. I'm like, dude, listen, I mean, to me, I think that's extremely offensive. And I explained to him why. And you're fired. I mean, it's government getting fired. Not for something like that. But to me, and this is where I bring that story up. Some of you are just super ignorant. They see and they listen, and they assume what they see and they listen is true. And so, you forget whatever would have happened. You're like a big bad oppressor, little small tiny person with silverware, knives and forks, and you guys have billion-dollar machinery. It's not a fair fight. You guys are being ridiculous. Same. I mean, that's the mentality. And so over there. So they see that. But the ones who have fought and the ones who have actually been in combat, the ones who have actually been in the military, this guy that works for me is just a civilian. They have an understanding of what it is to fight, what it is to take them into Iraq and Afghanistan. They understand think it's in September. She'll turn 2 on the 21st. So I'm trying to get there. I don't know if you guys want to talk to you guys. I want to go. I haven't seen them in forever. Life has gone on like normal. Every time I talk to my sister and Yogi, they're all pro the action that they're taking, and they're the they want to experience this again. That's what I try to explain to people when I talk to them. Like, how do you feel? The scariest moment I remember from all this, forgetting the atrocities that happened on that day, was like October 9th or something like that. And there was a false alarm of an infiltration in Woody, right? You know, just like, and that was the scariest thing for me. And they didn't know, definitely thankfully it was a false alarm, but I mean, we were freaking out because you don't really know what's going on. A couple days afterwards, that's a different reality. So you say, look, you're a little pretty house here in the United States, you have no idea what it's like to have to live with them. And when you do, then come and tell me that, you know, it's, you know, so they're all in Israel. We don't ever want to go through this again. We're going to do whatever we can to give ourselves the best life that we can. And they need to be, the threat needs to be extinguished. That's really what happens. So they all. So yeah, that's kind of like try not to. Well, you can't go. I'm very selective on what I read, otherwise you'll just be pissed off every day. I'll read her stuff. Okay. Good to see you guys. So we're heading down. We're heading down to Forum on Thursday night after school. Heading from Orlando. Kelly is driving. She's going to drop me off at the airport and go back to Clearwater area. It's actually Palm Harbor. Yeah. Sure. If you need to.
Okay, guys, we got to get moving. I didn't realize what time it was. We are about to hand out prizes and then do Havdalah and get into the Megillah reading. I'm going to hand it over to Miranda.
Thank you. Let me get my papers right. All right. So the children have a game, and there's been some talk that the adults we're going to have this game too. It's Finding Esther's Rose. So adults once upon a time did have Finding Esther's Rose, but we've kind of made that a children's game where they can go outside and get some wiggles and giggles and kicks out. And we have challenged our adults with some four-corner Purim trivia. So there's no longer Esther's Rose for adults, but our Esther's Rose winner for our children was Braden Landry. Where's Mr. Braden? Coach Kaysen, you want to grab this for Braden? Called you out like that, didn't I? There we go.
Not even her kid.
All right. Let's see. Our four-corner Purim trivia was Mr. Keith Price. Oh. Where's Miss Price? Dina. There you go. Well, you'll enjoy it just as much as him. So, all right, let me pause right real fast. The prizes for kiddos were Purim coloring books that tells the story of Esther. And then for our adult winners, we had Star of David, like blown glass wine stoppers that came from Mikveh, Israel, which is the third oldest synagogue in the United States and located in Savannah, Georgia. There's your little tidbit. Okay. And then for our costume winners, our kid winner, well, let me start with honorable mentions. Our honorable mention was, this is going to be kind of weird, Miss Darren Neal Hakeem, aka Miriam. I'm not talking about Sabrina, but all right, that was our honorable mention. Our winner was none other than Mr. Willy Wonka. Where's Mr. Chocolate Man? Can you walk up and pause and do a little roll? No. Here you go, buddy. All right. There you go. All right. And our honorable mentions for our youth and adults, okay, was the Oompa Loompa group, as well as Nick Tenney starring as Dave Hazen. Oh, goodness. Okay, and our adult costume winner was none other than, where is Mr. Spicy Slicey Fingers? Lance Slater. Hey. I just don't have the words. Put a cork in it, Lance. All right, and I am going to turn this over, Mr. Oh, Lance. Lance is going to be leading us in. Yeah, y'all got it.
crikey. Look over there, it's a Georgia peach. She's angry. All right, 761. Okay. Whew.
Don't make that peach man again.
Put this over here so it doesn't get wet. Probably not because. Hine el Yeshuati, el eftach v'lo efkad, ki ozi vezimrata Adonai, v'hahili li Yeshua, uvshavtem mayim besason, mimane ha-Yeshua. L'Adonai ha-Yeshua alamecha, v'hirchatecha seila, Adonai tsevaot imanu, miskav lanu Elohei Yaakov selah. Adonai tsevaot ashrei adam boteach bach, Adonai hoshia ha-melech yaneinu v'yom koheinu, la-Yehudim ha'ayta. Ora vesimcha, vesason vikar kentiyeh lanu, kos Yeshuot esav Hashem Adonai ekra. La da la da 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 la da la da 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 la da la da 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 la da la da 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 la da la da 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 da da. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Amen. La da la da 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 la da la da 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 la da la da 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 la da la da 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 la da la da 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 la da la da 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 la da 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 da. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. I lost my place. Borei minei besamim. Amen. Amen. La da la da 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 la da la da 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 la da 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 la da la da 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 la da la da 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 da da. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei me'orei ha'esh. Amen. Amen. La da la da 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 la da la da 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 la da la da 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 la da la da 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 la da la da 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 da da. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil ben kodesh lecho ben or lechoshech ben Yisrael amin ben yom hashi le'sheshet yamei hamaseh. Baruch atah Adonai hamavdil ben kodesh lecho. La da la da 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 la da da da. And as some friends of mine used to say, back to work.
No, it's vacation time.
You are the light of the world. Let your light shine before all men, that they may see your deeds and glorify our Father in heaven. The lamp is a mitzvah. The light it shines is a Torah. The lamp is a mitzvah. The light it shines is a Torah. You are the light of the world. Let your light shine before all men. They may see your deeds and glorify our Father in heaven. The lamp is a mitzvah. The light it shines is a Torah. The lamp is a mitzvah. The light it shines is a Torah. The lamp is a mitzvah. The light it shines is a Torah. The lamp is a mitzvah. The light it shines is a Torah. The lamp is a mitzvah. The light it shines is a Torah. The lamp is a mitzvah. The light it shines is a Torah. The lamp is a mitzvah. The light it shines is a Torah. The lamp is a mitzvah. The light it shines is a Torah. Shavua Tov, 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 Shavua Tov. Too much fun.
Thank you, Safari Dino Boy. All righty. Well, I just realized I'm out of camera. I've got the camera zoomed in. If you can do the other, well, it's never mind, it's on there. So we are going to get into the Megilla reading right now. So Steve, if you can head up. And we have asked specific people to be readers. If you will be ready, actually, can I get a favor? Can I get the first 2 rows available for our readers? If you're a reader, come up and sit on the first 2 rows right here. That way we don't have to worry about figuring out who's the next reader. We can just go in order like this. We didn't assign you guys numbers or anything, but if you're a reader, let's sit on the first 2 rows. Is Blake able to do the cameras or Miriam? We're going to read from the Bema. Blake, can you handle the cameras for a minute? We're going to be at the Bema. Okay, actually, Blake, I need a camera at the Bema and one at the podium. So before we get going with the Megilla reading, which is part of the reason, one of the main reasons we're here for, besides the fun games, thank you, Lance, for Havdalah. We're going to actually now officially into Purim and into the first of the week. We are here to read this Megillah. And the Megillah, as those of you who have attended our Lunch and Learn last week have said, the Megillah, it's one of the only books of the whole Hebrew Scriptures that doesn't have the name of God, and so therefore it has a lesser sanctity on some levels, okay? But it has higher in some other levels. But the thing about it is, the whole thing about this is it's a very, very, very clear story about how the world hates the Jewish people, about how they want to destroy the Jewish people, and how God has his hand on the Jewish people and the nation of Israel, okay? And this is why we are here, to celebrate that fact and to support. And my family, many of us here are not Jewish, but we stand for Israel. We stand for the Jewish people. We are here to proclaim that God is God over the Jews and of Israel. Amen? I would like Dr. Richard Eisner to come at this time. Where is he? Oh, can you come up here, sir? And while he's making his way up here, if you need a book of Esther, a Megillah to read, raise your hand and Sabrina will hand you one so you can follow along in our reading. But we've asked Dr. Eisner, and can we use the podium mic for this, to just say a few words before we read about the spirit of what we're going into.
Yes, what am I supposed to talk about? Just kidding.
Easter.
Esther's father, Esther's son, have Fester. Hi. So whenever I get up here and talk, or whenever they usually don't actually ask me to talk because nobody knows what's going to happen. So I wasn't really prepared to talk, but here's what I want to say. We're reliving Purim. We're living at a time that I would have never imagined or dreamed that we would look at Purim as anything but a historical event. And instead, we're looking at it as a current event. And so, much of the world is turning against Israel, it's turning against the Jewish people, people that I historically have respected and admired, that have a platform, or some of them are turning against Israel and the Jewish people. But we all know that. You know that. So here's what I want to say about you, not about that. Because just like when you think about the firemen running into the building that's on fire, that's you people. You folks that have come from far away or near, you people, your friends, the people that have embraced Israel, embraced Messianic Judaism, embraced us, are the ones that are running into the fire. And I want to acknowledge that. I want to thank you for that. I want to tell you how much we love you for that and appreciate who you are and what you're doing. It's sad. It's a sad thing that we even have to have that thought, that conversation. But I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your coming to visit, for us being friends, getting to know each other. And Jane just leaned over a minute ago and she said, I don't know if it's not up there now, but Israel, the Israel trip next year, she said, Paul, we'll tell him Paul. She said, Paul's going. She said, are we going? I said, heck yeah, we're not never going back to Israel. So save your pennies. Let's go. Come with us. Thank you for being here. We love you guys.
Okay, the way this is going to work, thank you, Dr. Eisner. The way this is going to work is Steve is going to come up. He's going to say the blessing for the reading of the Megillah. And then we're going to have one person. We are, by the way, if you didn't know, we are doing a lot of things. We are doing as we are learning, okay? And so there's nobody here that can cant the entire book of Esther yet, the entire Megillah. But we have a team of 5 folks who have worked on doing a little bit and are going to share some of that with us tonight. So one person is going to cant the first line of the first chapter, and then somebody else is going to read it. And then another person is going to chant the next line of the next chapter, and somebody else is going to read it. It's going to be 2 people, one person chanting 2 chapters, the first line of 2 chapters, and the next person will chant the next 2, and so forth. Okay? So bear with us. First time for everything, but this is pushing forward. We appreciate you guys being here and being a part of this, okay? So, sure. Yes. Okay. And we'll do Kaddish to begin with, as tradition. We definitely have a minyan considered the way we consider it here. So, Dina, why don't you come up and be ready to read? Okay. Well, you're the first cantor, and then she's going to read the English. Yeah. Come on.
I'm going to do it in Hebrew. You're going to do it in English.
Okay. What page are you on?
I'm on page 54.
Okay. Did I miss something? Hold on.
54 on this?
Oh, okay. Let's do the Kaddish and then I'll get into all that, okay?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but if you have to leave before we're finished with the Megillah, there are Purim goodie bags to grab on your way out. Please grab one per person, okay?
Yiskadal, Yiskada Shemeraba.
Amen.
Biamadik Barakiruse, Biamuk Makuse, Behaikano, Biamakano, Haidako, Bessis Rabagos Makariv, Biemiru.
Amen. Yeshmera Mavora.
Yeshmera
Amaya.
Yeshmera Mavora, Helmaya, Yisbarach, Yisdabach, Yisbad, Yislamam, Yisnaze, Yishadal. V'yishaleh, v'yishaleh, shemedi kudsha,
Brichu,
v'yelamin kol bilchasa v'shirasa, tush b'chasa v'neh, chemosan, da'amihiran b'yamelam, v'yimilu.
Amen.
Tizgabel tzalo son of Yohason, v'chol Yisrael kadam u'v'yam dim b'shmaya, v'yimilu.
Amen.
Yehesh made up with Shmaya v'chaim alin v'chol Yisrael v'yimilu.
Amen.
Ose shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'chol Yisrael v'yimilu. Amen.
Okay, let me say an introduction here. This is how this is going to work. We're going to practice. What?
Long live the king.
Everybody practice. Long live the king. When you hear Vashti, for Queen Vashti, you say, you go, girl. Everybody got it? Let's say it. Vashti.
You go, girl.
Mordecai, we say, hip, hip, hooray. And for Esther, we say, oh. Okay? And for Haman, you guys got that one down, I think, okay? So here we go. We're going to give the blessing and get into the reading. He's going to do blessing. He's going to chant the first line, and then we'll read the English, okay?
It's just the first one.
Page 55.
Actually, bottom of 54 for the blessings.
You're going to read a whole chapter.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvonav, al mikriyas ha-Megillah.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'osa nitzim lavoseinu, bayamim ohem, b'zman hazeh.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shecheyanu, v'kimanu, v'higianu, lazman hazeh.
Amen. Okay, well, so you need to keep that for a minute.
Vayihi b'mei Achashverosh. Noise, Achashverosh. Who?
Long live the king!
You know.
Yeah.
Who? Achashverosh. Hamelech mehodu v'yalkus sheva v'yesrim u'meya medina.
Amen. Okay, let's read it.
Okay. And it,
Yes. Oh, we forgot our tradition. Okay, you get to choose behind you here of your official, your empowerment to read.
oh. What do we got?
Oh, I think the spikes.
Go for it. Go for it. Yeah. There you go.
Goldilocks.
All right.
And it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. He is the Ahasuerus who reigned from Hodu to Cush, 127 provinces. In those days, when King Ahasuerus sat on his royal throne, which was in Shushan, the capital, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast for all his officials and his servants, the army of Persia and Media, the nobles and officials of the provinces being present, when he displayed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his splendid majesty for many days, 180 days, Yeah, and when those days were fulfilled, the king made a 7-day feast for all the people who were present in Shushan the capital, great and small alike, in the courtyard of the garden of the king's palace. There were hangings of white, fine cotton, and turquoise wool, held with cords of fine linen and purple wool, upon silver rods and marble pillars. The couches of gold and silver were on the pavement of variegated marble. The drinks were served in golden vessels, vessels of diverse form, and royal wine in abundance, in accordance with the king's wealth. And the drinking was according to the law. There was no coercion, for so the king had established for every officer of his house to do according to each man's pleasure. Queen Vashti also made a feast for the women in the royal house of King Ahasuerus. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he told Mehuman, Bizetha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abatha, Zehar, and Carcas, the 7 chamberlains who attended King Ahasuerus, to bring Queen Vashti before the king, adorned with the royal crown, to show off to the people and the officials her beauty, for she was beautiful of appearance. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command, conveyed by the hand of the chamberlains. The king therefore became very enraged, and his wrath burned in him. Then the king spoke to the wise men who knew the times, for such was the king's procedure to turn to all who knew law and judgment, for those closest to him, Karshena, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marsena, and Memucan, the 7 officers of Persia and Media, who had access to the king, who sat first in the kingdom. By the law, what should be done to Queen Vashti? For not having obeyed the bidding of King Ahasuerus, conveyed by the hand of the chamberlains. Memucan declared before the king and the officials, not only against the king has Queen Vashti done wrong, but against all the officials and all the people in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus. For the queen's deed will come to the attention of all women, making their husbands contemptible in their eyes, when they will say, King Ahasuerus said to Queen Vashti before him, but she did not come. And this day the princesses of Persia and Media who have heard of the queen's deed will speak of it to all the king's officials, and there will be much contempt and rage. If it pleases the king, let there go forth a royal edict from him, and let it be written into the laws of Persia and Media, that it not be revoked, that Vashti never again appear before King Ahasuerus. And let the king confer her royal estate upon another who is better than she. And then the king's decree, which he will proclaim, shall be heard throughout all his kingdom, great though it be, and all the wives will show respect to their husbands, great and small alike. This proposal was favorable in the eyes of the king and the officials, and the king did according to the word of Memucan, and he sent letters to all the king's provinces, to each province in his own script, and to each people in his own language, to the effect that every man should rule in his own home and speak the language of his own people.
Right? Okay. Second reader, come on up. You can read the second part, the second line. First verse. Take out your hat.
That's it, we're done.
You horny fella.
That's utterly ridiculous.
So's that hat. המלך אחשוורוש זכור אספשתי ויוסף קדושו ויש אשר נגזע עליה. Start reading it, number 2.
All right. After these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus subsided, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what had been decreed against her. Then the king's attendants said, "Let there be sought for the king young maidens in beautiful appearance, and let the king appoint commissioners in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they would gather together every young maiden of beauty and appearance to Shusha, the capital, to the harem under the charge of Haggai, the king's chamberlain, guardian of the women, and let their cosmetics be given to them. Then let the girl who pleases the king reign in place of Vashti." The matter pleased the king, and he did so. There was a Jewish man in Shushan, the capital, whose name was Mordecai, son of Yair, son of Shammai, son of Kish, a Benjamite, who had been exiled from Jerusalem along with the exiles who had been exiled with Jehoiakim, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had exiled. And he had reared Hadassah. She is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother. The maiden was finely featured and beautiful in appearance. And when her father and mother had died, Mordecai adopted her as his own daughter. So it came to pass when the king's bidding and decree were announced, and when many young maidens were being brought together to Shusha, the capital, under the charge of Haggai, that Esther was taken to the king's palace under the charge of Haggai, guardian of the women. The girl was pleasing in the eyes, and she found favor before him. He hurriedly prepared her cosmetics and her allowance of delicacies to present to her, along with 7 attendants from the king's palace, and he transferred her and her maidens to the best quarters in the harem. Esther had not told her people of her kindred, for Mordecai had instructed her not to tell. Day after day, Mordecai would walk about in front of the courtyard of the harem to learn about Esther's well-being and what would become of her. Now when each maiden turn arrived to come to King Ahasuerus, after having been treated according to the law and prescribed for women for 12 months, for so was the prescribed length of their anointing accomplished, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with perfumes and feminine cosmetics. And when the girl came in this manner to the king, she was given whatever she requested to accompany her from the harem to the king's palace. In the evening she would come, and in the morning she would return to the second harem in the charge of Shashgaz, the king's chamberlain, guardian of the concubines. She would never again come to the king unless the king desired her, and she was summoned by name. Now when the turn came for Esther, the daughter of Abihail, uncle of Mordecai, who had adopted her as his daughter, to come to the king, she requested nothing except that which Haggai, the king's chamberlain, guardian of the women, had advised. Esther would find favor in the eyes of all who saw her. Esther was taken to King Ahasuerus into his royal palace in the 10th month, which is the month of Teves, in the 7th year of his reign. The king loved Esther more than all the other women, and she found more favor and kindness before him than all the other maidens, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen in place of Vashti. Then the king made a great banquet for all of the officers and his servants. It was Esther's banquet, and he proclaimed an amnesty for the provinces and gave gifts worthy of the king's hand. And when the maidens were gathered together the second time, and Mordecai sat in the king's gate, Esther still told nothing of her kindred or her people as Mordecai had instructed her. For Esther continued to obey Mordecai just as she was when she was reared by him. In those days, while Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate, Bigthan and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains of the guardians of the threshold, became enraged and sought to send their hand against King Ahasuerus. The matter became known to Mordecai, who told it to Queen Esther, and Esther informed the king in Mordecai's name. The matter was investigated and found to be true, and they were both hanged on the gallows, and it was recorded in the book of Chronicles in the king's presence.
All right. Okay, we need cantor number 2 and reader number 3. Gary, you got a backwards fish on your head.
It's all right.
Oh boy, let's see how this goes. Just trying to get caught up.
That's all right. Take your time, take your time.
אחר הדברים האלה אגיד על המלך אחשוורוש את המן בן המדתה הגגי ונושאהו וישם את כיסו מהעול כל השרים אשר איתו.
After these things, King Ahasuerus promoted Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agagite. I did say Haman, but you were... Okay. Son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and elevated him. He set his seat above all the officers who were with him. All the king's servants at the king's gate would bow down and prostrate themselves before Haman. For so had the king commanded concerning him. But Mordecai would not bow down and would not prostrate himself. So the king's servants who were at the king's gate said to Mordecai, "Why do you disobey the king's command?" Now it happened when they said this to him day after day, and he did not heed them, they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's would prevail, for he had told them that he was a Jew. When Haman himself saw that Mordecai did not bow down and prostrate himself before him, Haman was filled with wrath. However, it seemed contemptible to him to send his hand against Mordecai alone, for they had told him of the people of Mordecai. So Haman sought to destroy all the Jews who were throughout the entire kingdom of Ahasuerus, the people of Mordecai. In the first month, which is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, that is, the lot, was cast in the presence of Haman from day to day and from month to month in the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. Then Haman said to King Ahasuerus, "There is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of your realm. Their laws are different from every other people's, and they do not obey the king's laws. Therefore, it is not befitting the king to tolerate them." If it please the king, let it be recorded that they be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 silver talents into the hands of those who perform the duties for deposit into the king's treasuries. So the king removed his signet ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, son of Hammedatha the Agagite, enemy of the Jews. Then the king said to Haman, the silver is given to you, the people also, to do as you see fit. The king's scribes were summoned, and on the 13th day of the first month, and everything was written exactly as Haman had dictated to the king's satraps and to the governors who were over every province, and to the officials of every people, to each province in its own script, and to each people in its own language. It was written in the name of King Ahasuerus, and it was sealed with the king's signet ring. Letters were sent by courier to all the provinces of the king to destroy, to slay, and to exterminate all the Jews, from young to old, children and women, in one day on the 13th of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, and to plunder their possessions. Copies of the document were to be promulgated in every province and to be published to all peoples, for them to be prepared for that day. The couriers went forth hurriedly by order of the king, and the edict was distributed in Shushan, the capital. The king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city of Shushan was bewildered.
Feel a little grabby.
Trafe?
I'll try to.
Life under the sea is better than anything they got up there. ומרדכי ידע את כל אשר נעשה, ויקרא מרדכי את הגדה, וילבש שק אפר, ויצא בתוך העיר, ויזעק. ויזכה גדולה ומרה.
Mordecai learned of all that had been done, and Mordecai tore his clothes and donned sackcloth and ashes. He went out into the midst of the city and cried a loud and bitter cry. He came until the front of the king's gate, for it was forbidden to enter the king's gate in a garment of sackcloth. And in every province, any place the king's command and his decree extended, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting and weeping and lament. Sackcloth and ashes were spread out for the masses. And Esther's maidens came, as well as her chamberlains, and told her about it. And the queen was greatly distressed. She sent garments to clothe Mordecai and to remove his sackcloth from upon him, but he would not accept them. Then Esther summoned Hathach, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he stationed before her, and ordered him to go to Mordecai to learn what this was about and why. So Hathach went out to Mordecai to the city square, which was in front of the king's gate, and Mordecai told him of all that had happened to him, and about the sum of money that Haman had promised to pay to the royal treasuries for the annihilation of the Jews. He also gave him a copy of the text of the decree that was distributed in Shushan for their destruction, so that he might show it to Esther and inform her, and bid her to go to the king, to implore of him, and to plead with him for her people. Hathach came and told Esther the words of Mordecai, and then Esther told Hathach and ordered him to return to Mordecai, saying, all the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces know that any man or woman who approaches the king in the inner court, who is not summoned, his law is one, to be put to death, except for the one whom the king shall extend the gold scepter, so that he may live. Now I have not summoned to come to the king for these past 30 days. They related Esther's words to Mordecai. Then Mordecai said to reply to Esther, do not imagine in your soul that you will be able to escape in the king's palace any more than the rest of the Jews. For if you persist in keeping silent at a time like this, relief and deliverance will come to the Jews from another place, while you and your father's house will perish. And who knows whether it was just for such a time as this that you attained the royal position. Then Esther said to reply to Mordecai, go, assemble all the Jews that are to be found in Shushan, and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. And I, with my maids, will fast also. Thus I will come to the king, though it is unlawful. And if I perish, I perish. Mordecai then left and did exactly as Esther had commanded him.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Vayhi bayom hashlishi vatilbash Esther malchut vata'amod bachazar beit hamelech hapenimit nochach beit hamelech vehamelech yoshev al kisei malchuto beveit hamalchut nochach petach habayit.
Now it came to pass on the third day, Esther donned royalty and stood in the inner courtyard of the king's palace, facing the king's palace, while the king was sitting on his royal throne in the royal palace facing the entrance of the palace. When the king noticed Queen Esther standing in the courtyard, she found favor in his eyes. The king extended to Esther the gold scepter that was in his hand, and Esther approached and touched the tip of the scepter. The king said to her, "What is it for you, O Queen Esther? And what is your petition? Even if it be until half the kingdom, it shall be granted to you." Esther said, "If it please the king, let the king and Haman come today to the banquet that I have prepared for him." Then the king commanded, "Hasten Haman to fulfill Esther's word." So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared. The king said to Esther during the wine feast, "What is your request? It shall be granted to you. And what is your petition? Even if it be until half the kingdom, it shall be fulfilled." So Esther responded and said, "My request and my petition, if I have found favor in the king's eyes, and it pleases the king to grant my request and to fulfill my petition, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them, and tomorrow I shall fulfill the king's word. That day Haman went out joyful and exuberant, but when Haman noticed Mordecai in the king's gate, and that he did not stand up and did not stir before him, Haman was filled with wrath at Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman restrained himself and went home. He sent and summoned his friends and his wife Zeresh. Haman recounted to them the glory of his wealth and of his many sons, and all the ways in which the king had promoted him and elevated him above the officials and royal servants. Haman said, moreover, Queen Esther brought no one but myself to accompany the king to the banquet that she had prepared, and tomorrow, too, I am invited by her along with the king. Yet all this is worth nothing to me so long as I see Mordecai, the Jew, sitting at the king's gate. So his wife Zeresh, as well as his friends, said to him, let them make a gallows 50 cubits high. In the morning speak to the king and have them hang Mordecai on it. Then accompany the king to the banquet in good spirits. This suggestion pleased Haman, and he had the gallows made.
Next reader. Yeah, here we go. Balayla hahu nadida Shinat Hamelech Vayomer Lehavi Et Sefer HaZikaronot Devrei Hayamim Vayihiu Nikraim Lifnei Hamelech.
That night, the king's sleep was disturbed, so he commanded to bring the book of records, the Chronicles, and that they be read before the king. And it was found written there that Mordecai had denounced Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains of the guardians of the threshold, who had sought to send their hand against King Ahasuerus. The king said, what honor or majesty has been done for Mordecai for this? The king's attendants and ministrants said, nothing has been done for him. The king said, who is in the courtyard? Now Haman was just coming into the outer courtyard of the royal palace to speak to the king about hanging Mordecai on the gallows that he had prepared for him. So the king's attendant said to him, behold, Haman stands in the courtyard. And the king said, let him enter. Haman entered, and the king said to him, what should be done to the man for whom the king desires to honor? Now Haman said in his heart, whom would the king especially want to honor more than me? So Haman said to the king, for the man whom the king desires to honor, have them bring royal attire that the king has worn, and a horse upon which the king has ridden, one with a royal crown placed on his head. Then let the attire and the horse be given over into the hand of one of the king's most noble officers, officials, and let them dress the man whom the king desires to honor, and have him ride on the horse through the city square, and let them proclaim before him, this is what shall be done for the man whom the king desires to honor. Then the king said to Haman, hurry, take the attire and the horse as you have said, and do all this for Mordecai, the Jew who sits at the king's gate. Do not omit a single detail of all that you have suggested. So Haman took the garment and the horse and dressed Mordecai and had him ride through the city square and proclaim before him, "This is what shall be done for the man whom the king desires to honor." Mordecai returned to the king's gate, but Haman hurried home, despondent and with his head covered. Haman told his wife Zeresh and all his friends everything that had happened to him. And his wise men and his wife Zeresh said to him, "If Mordecai, before whom you have begun to fall, is of Jewish descent, you will not prevail against him, but will undoubtedly fall before him." While they were still talking with him, the king's chamberlains arrived, and they hurried to bring Haman to the banquet with which Esther had prepared.
There you go. Vayavo Hamelech veHaman lishtot im Esther Hamalka. You're on.
Nope, you're fine. So the king and Haman came to the feast with Queen Esther. And the queen asked Esther again on the second day at the wine fest, "What is your request, Queen Esther?" "It shall be granted to you. And what is your petition? Even if it be up to half of the kingdom, it shall be fulfilled." So Queen Esther responded and said, "If I have found favor in your eyes, O king, and if it pleases the king, let my life be granted to me as my request and my people as my petition. For we have been sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, to be exterminated. We have been sold as slaves and maidservants. I would have kept quiet, for adversary is nothing worthy of the king's damage." Thereupon King Ahasuerus exclaimed and said to Queen Esther, "Who is this? Where is the one who has dared to do this so?" And Esther said, "A man who is an adversary and an enemy, this wicked Haman." Haman trembled in terror before the king and the queen. The king rose in his wrath and from the wine fest and went into the palace garden, while Haman remained to beg Queen Esther for his soul, for he saw that evil had been determined against him and by the king. When the king returned from the palace garden to the hall, to the wine fest, Haman had fallen onto the couch upon which Esther was. So the king exclaimed, "Would he actually assault the queen while I am in the house?" As soon as the king uttered this, they covered Haman's face. Then Harbonah, one of the chamberlains and attendants before the king, said, "Furthermore, the gallows which Haman made for Mordecai, who spoke good for the king, is standing in Haman's house, and it is 50 cubits high." And the king said, "Hang him on it." So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai, and the king's anger abated.
All right, y'all.
Bayom hahu Natan Hamelech Ahashverosh Lester Hamalkah Et Bet Haman Zorer HaYehudim Mordechai Ba Lifnei HaMelech Ki higidita Esther Magula.
That very day, a little early, King Ahasuerus gave the estate of Haman, the enemy of the Jews, to Queen Esther. Mordecai came before the king. For Esther had told the king what he was to her. The king removed his signet ring, which he had taken away from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. And Esther put Mordecai in charge of Haman's estate. Esther yet again spoke to the king. She fell at his feet and wept and implored him to avert the evil intention of Haman, the Agagite, and his scheme that he had plotted against the Jews. The king extended his gold scepter to Esther, and Esther arose and stood before the king. She said, "If it pleases the king, and if I have found favor before him, and the proposal seems proper before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to countermand those dispatches, the scheme of Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, in which he had written to exterminate the Jews who are in the king's provinces. For how can I bear to witness the disaster which will befall my people? How can I bear to witness the extermination of my kindred?" Then King Ahasuerus said to Queen Esther and to Mordecai the Jew, "Behold, I have given Haman's estate to Esther, and they have hanged him on the gallows because he sent his hand against the Jews. You may write concerning the Jews whatever is favorable in your eyes, in the name of the king, and seal it with the king's signet. For an edict which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's signet may not be revoked." So they summoned the king's scribes at that time, in the 3rd month, which is the month of Sivan, on its 23rd day, and it was written as Mordecai had dictated to the Jews and to the satraps, the governors and officials of the provinces from Hodu to Cush, 127 provinces, to each province in his own script, and each people in its own language, and to the Jews in their own script and language. He wrote in the name of King Ahasuerus, and sealed it with the king's signet. He sent dispatches by couriers on horseback, riders of swift mules bred of mares, to the effect that the king had given permission to the Jews of every city to organize and to defend themselves, to destroy, to slay, and to exterminate every armed force of any people or province that threatened them, along with their children and women, and to plunder their possessions. On one day in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus,
Long live the king!
namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, that is, the month of Adar. Copies of the document were to be promulgated in every province and be published to all peoples, for the Jews to be prepared for that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. The couriers, riders of swift mules, went forth in urgent haste by word of the king, and the edict was distributed in Shushan, the capital.
Okay, I owe you guys a big apology. We were supposed to be reading together the parts in bold, so we're going to do it now.
Ready? Mordecai, hip-hip-hooray, left the king's presence clad in royal apparel of turquoise and white, with a large gold crown and a robe of fine linen and purple. Then the city of Shushan was cheerful and glad. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor. And in every province and in every city, every place where the king's word and his decree reached, the Jews had gladness and joy, a feast and a holiday. Moreover, many from among the people of the land professed themselves Jews, for the fear of the Jews had fallen upon them.
Right.
Yeah.
My place. What page are we on? Do you know?
Chapter
There it is.
9.
There it is.
Chapter 9. You gotta talk like a chicken.
Uvishneim asar chodesh hu chodesh adar bishlosha asar yom bo asher higia devar hamelech vadato lehaasot bayom asher siberu oyavei hayehudim lishlot bahem v'nahafochu asher yishletu hayehudim hema b'sonehem.
Then in the 12th month, which was the month of Adar, on its 13th day, when the king's command and edict were about to be enforced, on the day that the enemies of the Jews expected to prevail over them, and it was turned about, the Jews prevailed over their adversaries. The Jews organized themselves in the cities in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus.
Long live the king.
To send forth their hand against those who sought their hurt, and no man would stand before them, for fear of them had fallen upon all the peoples. And all the officials of the provinces, the satraps and the governors, and those who had conducted the king's affairs, exalted the Jews, for the fear of Mordecai had fallen upon them. For Mordecai was now preeminent in the royal palace, and his fame was spreading throughout all the provinces. For the man Mordecai grew increasingly greater, and the Jews struck at all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, slaughtering and annihilating. They treated their enemies as they pleased. In Shushan, the capital, the Jews slew and annihilated 500 men.
Pause. So, traditionally, we try to do this all in one breath. You ready?
No.
Give it a shot.
All these names in one breath. And Parshandatha, and Dalphon, and Asphala, and Paratha, and Dadela, and Aridatha, and Paramashta, and Arisai, and Aridai, and Vista, sons of Haman, son of... son of Hamandatha, the Jews' enemy, but they did not lay their hands on the spoils. That same day, the number of those killed in Shushan, the capital, was reported to the king. The king said to Queen Esther, in Shushan, the capital, the Jews have slain and annihilated 500 men, as well as 10 sons of Haman. What have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? What is your request now? It shall be granted to you. What is your petition further? It shall be fulfilled. Esther replied, if it pleases the king, let tomorrow also be given to the Jews who are in Shushan to act as they did today, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged on the gallows. The king ordered that this be done, and a decree was distributed in Shushan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons. The Jews that were in Shushan assembled again on the 14th day of the month of Adar and slew 300 men of Shushan, but they did not lay their hands on the spoils. The rest of the Jews that were in the king's provinces assembled and defended themselves, gaining relief from their foes, slaying 75,000 of their enemies, but they did not lay their hands on the spoils. On the 13th day of the month of Adar, and they gained relief on its 14th day, making it a day of feasting and gladness. But the Jews that were in Shushan assembled on both its 13th day and its 14th, and they gained relief on its 15th, making it a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore, Jewish villagers who live in unwalled towns celebrate the 14th day of the month of Adar as an occasion of gladness, feasting and festival, and for sending delicacies to one another. Mordecai recorded these events and sent letters to all the Jews who were in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus,
Long live the king!
the near ones and the distant ones, charging them to observe annually the 14th day of the month of Adar and its 15th day, as the days on which the Jews gained relief from their enemies, and the month on which had been turned about for them from one of their sorrow to gladness, and from mourning to festival, to observe them as days of feasting and gladness, and sending delicacies to one another, and gifts to the poor. The Jews undertook to continue that which they had begun, just as Mordecai had prescribed to them. For Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agite, enemy of all the Jews, who had plotted to annihilate the Jews and had cast a pur, that is the lot, to terrify and to annihilate them. But when she appeared before the king, he commanded by means of letters that Haman's wicked scheme which he had devised against the Jews should recoil on its own head, and they hanged him and his sons on the gallows. Therefore, they called these days Purim, from the word pur. Therefore, because of all that was written in this letter, and because of what they had seen concerning this, and what has happened to them, the Jews confirmed and undertook upon themselves and their posterity, and upon all who might join them without fail, to observe these 2 days in their prescribed manner and in their proper time each year. And these days should be remembered and celebrated by every generation, every family, every province, and every city. And these days of Purim should never cease among the Jews, nor shall their remembrance perish from their descendants. Then Queen Esther, daughter of Abihail, wrote, along with Mordecai, the Jew, with full authority to ratify this second letter of Purim. Dispatches were sent to all the Jews, to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Ahasuerus,
Long live the king!
with words of peace and truth, to establish these days of Purim on their proper dates, just as Mordecai, the Jew, and Queen Esther had enjoined them, and as they had confirmed upon themselves and their posterity the matter of these fasts and their lamentations. Esther's ordinances confirmed these regulations for Purim, and it was recorded in the book.
I'm going to just read chapter 10, which is 3.
Just right there?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm going to do all 3.
Hey, you gotta grab a hat.
This is going to be easy.
Get a hat.
Where's the dunce hat?
I come in many sizes.
Small, medium, or large. Okay. We got to, when you get to this, because it's bold, everybody will say everybody.
Vayasem hamelech Achashverosh mas al haaretz v'yehayam v'chol ma'aseh tokpo ugvurato ufarashat gedulat Mordechai asher gidolo hamelech Halohem ketuvim al sefer divrei hayamim lamalchei madai ufaras ki Mordechai hayehudim mishnei lamelech Achashverosh V'gadol laYehudim v'ratzui l'rov echav doresh tov le'amo v'dover shalom l'chozaro.
King Ahasuerus
Long live the king.
levied a tax on the mainlands. Makes sense? Yes. Levied a tax on the mainland and the islands of the sea. All his mighty and powerful acts and the account of the greatness of Mordecai, whom the king had promoted, are recorded in the book of the Chronicles of the king of Media and Persia. For Mordecai, Hebepere, the Jew, was Viceroy
of King.
He was a great man among the Jews, and favor
with the multitude of his brethren. He sought the good of his people and spoke of the welfare of all his seed. Okay, very good.
Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who takes up our grievance, judges our claim, avenges our wrong, who brings just retribution upon all our enemies of our soul, and exacts vengeance for us and for all our foes. Blessed are you, Adonai, who exacts vengeance for his people Israel from all their foes, the God who brings salvation. Yeshua. Amen. Okay. So, Chag Purim Sameach. Glad to have everyone with us here. As we are concluding, wrapping up, this is the end of our event. I want to thank you again for being here, being part of this, making it great. I need you to do two things. One, help us just sort of tidy up and clean up. And two, grab a goodie bag on your way out. Okay? Chag Purim Sameach. Is that... What? Miranda said grab 3 goodie bags, so we got a lot.